Hey there, welcome back to CodePrayukti. In the last video, we have seen how the static data is coming in this website itself from the Angular part. And today we will get rid of this static data and put the actual data from the web API, the REST calls. And for that, we need to go to the Visual Studio. Let's open Visual Studio and go for create new project. Let it open first. So for this, we need ASP.NET Core Web API, this one. It's a RESTful HTTP service. And I'll click this, hit next. And as you know, I have already created one location for this. So I'll go to my application here. And this is the location where I need to put my code. So I'll copy this location, get back to this application, and in this location, place this. And my project name would be employee app API. So the name is same. Okay, hit next. So my framework would be .NET 7 and it's configured for HTTPS controller. Okay, I'll do for use controller, enable open name support. Yeah, for the Swagger UI 2 pop-up, I need this check. And do not use the top level statement. Yeah, I do not want the top level statement. This is coming after .NET 6, this top level statement. So I have to check this and then create. It will take a little bit of time. Okay, our application is open. Let me close this overview and we have one controller. Let's see. This is weather focused controller. This is coming by default. This is weather focused by CS file. We have app setting.json. Yeah. So we will start creating the application and we will go for the code first approach. Code first approach is something which is you do the coding and you just let the application to create its own table and create its own structure of the table, whatever the data types are. So that would be handled by the .NET itself. So I will not handle that those things. So I'll go for that code first approach. And we have another approach that is DB first. DB first is something you have to create your own database. You have to create your table structure, the schemas and all. And then you have to scaffold the thing in this entity framework. Then that will create your models, the controllers itself, everything. So I will not go that way. I will go the reverse way. That is, I'll create my own model. I'll create the controller. The controller is not dependent on that, the DB context file itself. So I'll go for the second approach. That is, I'll create my model classes. I'll create my DB context file, and then the rest will take care by the application itself. So let me first create one folder. The name of the folder would be data. Inside that, my DB context file would be placed, and I need another folder for my model classes. So the name of this folder is model. Similar like in this application itself, there is also a model class, as you can see here, models. So that holds the employee property. So this also holds the same employee property here in my backend. So I'll add a one class. The name of the class is employee. Okay, employ. So my employee class is created, and now I go to the VS Code and check whatever properties I have here. I have to replicate the same in the backend application itself. So I'll copy and paste it here. Okay, so Let me type PROP and then double tab. So this will create you a property. This is created by IntelliSense itself, and I'll just copy this thing, paste it here. So this is my ID. This is string type or GUID type. Yeah. So GUID is nothing but a string format. So the next would be, acha, let me first comment out this, otherwise it will throw an error. Okay. Okay. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 properties is there. So copy, paste, paste, paste. So I have also 5 and 6, sixth one. So then the name is name, it is string, then it is phone number, and there it was number, so it will be int here. Then the salary, paste, and it will be int as well. Then designation, and this will be string. Then email, and this will also be string. Let me place it a little bit right. Okay, so it's done. Let me remove this things, I don't need it anymore. Now see, there is something IntelliSense is showing us this naming rule violation. It's non-nullable property. So I'll go to my so I'll go here, double tap this. It will open this employee app API app, and inside here, see, nullable is enabled. So I'll disable this, disable, and save. Close this. See, the error will gone after some time, I guess. See, the error is gone now. Okay, so now I have to define my ID as a primary key. So for this, I have to print key here, and it will create one, see, the data annotation. It will import the respected package for this. The key defines that this ID is a primary key. This ID would be the primary key of the database of employee table. This ID would be the primary key of the employee table. So this is done. Then this is also required. I don't need a nullable value for this. So this is also required. And everything is required. This as well. And the last one, I guess. So I'll go here, required. Okay. So my property part is done. We have one key and remaining are not null values. That's why it is said as required. So I'll save this, close this. I don't need it anymore. Now I'll go to the data folder, and here I have to create one class. The name of the class would be employee DB context. And here I have to implement the DB context class, and that this DB context class is let me see what package it needs to get installed. It's asking me for entity framework core. Okay, find and install the latest version. Yeah, it will install it. And let me go to tools to install some other packages that we need. So I'll go, okay, let me just open tools, then NuGet package manager console, and this NuGet manage NuGet packages for solution. Open. So yeah, it's opened, and it's already installed 3 packages. These two come by default, and this is installed just right now. And now I'll go here in the browser, search SQL Server. See, Microsoft Entity Framework Code SQL Server. Click this, go to 707, and this is a stable version as of now. I don't need latest pre-release one, preview one, and it is installed. So let it installed. Then okay, I have to accept this. So it's been installed, I guess. Now let me go to the browser again and search for tools. So there is Microsoft Entity Framework Code tools. Okay, click this, select the project, then 707, install. Accept this, and you are done. So let me close this solution, and if you can see the dependency, and inside dependency there is a package, and we have these all packages installed. So I don't think we need more packages. If we need later on, we can install it, and as of now it's done. So in the in this employee DB context file, I need to create one. Inside this class I will create a constructor. So I'll just hit CTOR and then double tab. It will create a constructor for me with this particular name, and inside this constructor I will create to initialize a parameter that is DB context options. The name would be options, and it is implemented the base function inside that options. So it's done, and now I have to create one property. This is propped, and the type of the property would be dbset, and dbset is the type of employee, and my okay, employees. It is employees or employee. So let me quick action this. It's model. Okay. So dbset is type of employee, and the name of the property is employee itself, and I am done here in my db context file. So my db context file is done. My model class is also created. Now I need to go to package manager console. If you not find it here, you can go to tools, then you get package and search package manager console. And before package manager console, I'm sorry, I forgot that. You need to go to app setting.json, and here you need to create one connection string. The name of the connection string I would give as constr, and inside the string would be passed inside this quotation. So I'll create my own connection string. For that I need to go to SSMS once. I hope you have installed SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, so here my server name is localDB. I pasted this name, and then close this. Then authentication type is Windows authentication. I don't need any password or username. So I'll hit connect. So my server is connected. Let's see what are the database we have here. I have used this server for many applications, so I think there will be some databases. Okay, see, huge number of databases. So I'll just go for databases, create new database, and my database name would be employee app db. So that is fine, and I'll hit OK. So my employee app db is created. Now let me go to the application itself, and so my connection string would be server equal control V, that is my server name, then semicolon, inside that semicolon, and database equal the database name which I have here, employee app db. Let me close the second one. So employee app db, and then we need to pass trust ed, trusted underscore connection equal true. So that's done. So this is my connection string for the application. And now I need to go to package manager console to create this tables in the database in the app employee app db. And here I need to run the migration. So I'll hit add migration, and then the name of the migration, that is, let's say, employee table create. This is the name of the migration. That's it. And I hit enter. So it's showing build started. Let's it succeed first. Okay, it's succeeded. I guess it will create one migration file for us. Why it's throwing an error, unable to create an object of time employee db context for the different patterns supported at the design time. Okay, so madam, in the program.cs, I have to add the service of SQL Server that I missed. So I'll go here. I have to inject the dependency, and I forget that. That's why it's throwing an error. So add db context, and the db context is employee app, no, employee app db context. This one, I guess. Let me go and copy this. Control C, go here, Control V. Okay, it's added. Then let's say options, then options dot use SQL server, as I'm using the SQL server, then builder, and I have to add my configuration file here, that is get connection string, and the name of the connection string is constr. Let me reconfirm this. Here constr, copy it, Control C, go here, Control V, and hit a semicolon. So now it should work. Let me rebuild this and go to the package manager console, add this migration. Okay, so it is succeeded, I guess. I have it's created me a file for us. So this file is consist of these properties, the ID that is unique identifier, then the name, phone number, it is in varchar. It is just interacting with the with my it is just interacting with my entity framework core to like with my .NET application to the database. So for the string, it is in varchar. For GUID, it is unique identifier in SQL Server. So for int, it is int, not nullable. Okay, it's nullable. So for int, it is int, it is int, string in varchar max, and then we have ID as the primary key, as we have put ID as key in our model class. So that is done, and it is migrated to drop table. If there is any table name employee, it will drop and create a new table of employee. So that is it. I just close this and go again to this package manager console and hit this app migration. Don't run this, just change the name to update database, sorry, base, with this particular name and hit enter. It will update the database and create your own tables, create that particular table, employee table. So let me go to my SMS, and here if you expand this and inside tables, expand this table. So yeah, this employee table is getting created. Let me right click on this and go to design and show you the same properties that we have assigned in the model is coming here as a columns of this table. It will take it's getting slow. My laptop is getting very slow today these days. Okay, see, the ID is unique identifier, name is in varchar, phone number is int, salary is int, designation. These all are the properties, and this is all I have made this ID as key, that's why it is primary key, that's why it is not null, and remaining are required, that's why we have put it's put as not null. So yeah, allow nulls is no. Okay, fine. So this done. Let me close this and let me go. It's already done, we don't need it. Close this. So my database connection is getting established. It is connecting to the database. This my application, this backend application is interacting with database perfectly. So I need to now create one controller for me. So I'll go to add new controller. Inside controllers, and it's not an MVC controller, it's an API controller. I'll put it as empty. The name of the controller will be uh, employee controller. Be very careful that you need to put this controller before this class. I mean, in this class name, you should put a controller in the prefix. And this, as this is an API controller, by default it is coming as API slash controller. So that means it would be API, my URL of the application, then slash API, then slash my controller name, that is only employee. So this would be the router for me, and this is an API controller that is redirecting here. Okay, so now for my API controller, first let me add the db context file here as a private read-only variable. So private read-only employee db context underscore context. Done. Now I need a constructor, so I'll hit ctor and then double tap, and I have to initialize this employee db context. So the IntelliSense is giving me the right way, so I'll just hit tab, it will create its own, and then the context is equal to context. Okay, fine. So now for the API controller, for this controller, employee controller, we need to perform 4 operations, the CRUD operations itself. One is create. I need to create one employee. We can create employees. R for reading. We can read all employees itself, and we can read a specific employee as well. So that operation has, we need to add as a method. And then U, that is for update. So update is, we can update one particular employee according with its primary key, that is ID. And then delete, D for delete, that is we can delete an employee if he is no longer available in this organization. So that is the 4 thing. Let's say CRUD CRUD. So I'll perform a CRUD operation, that is C stands for create, and I'll hit the HTTP method would be the get method. No, sorry, the create would be a post method, and then R equal read, that would be read only. So this would be HTTP get. I need 2 read only method because one will be for the total number of employees, the list of employee will be displayed, and one is for the ID specific employee, single employee will be displayed. So that's why 2 get method, and then U for update, and that would be HTTP put for update. And the last one is D for delete, and that would be HTTP delete. Okay, so here, so yeah, first let me go and create one method. For the create one, that would be public. I action result would be the data type, and then the name of the method, that would be add employee. Okay, and it is saying as it's all code. Acha, return. First let me return null to make it disappear this error. Okay, so now my routing would be, let me add a route, and this route would be nothing but this name, add employee. Okay, and here, first of all, acha, this method should be asynchronous. That's why I need to add async keyword, and then it should be a task. And here employee is coming as, I mean employee will be having GUID as key. So for that I need to add a class, and this is employee model, EMP model, and inside that I just have to pass everything except the GUID, because GUID will be auto provided in this application by me only, because GUID will be auto created. I don't need to pass the GUID here in the form itself. So I just go to model and paste this, save this. So this is just employee model. Okay, required. Yeah, it's done. So here I have to pass EMP model as EMP, and then I have to check if this employee is having the same email ID or not. So for that I have to write if, first I have to check, I have to write a condition, that is check employee, and check employee will have the context dot employee dot where e dot employee for email is equal to emp dot email. If the email matches, then find first or default async, and here would be await. keyword. So, yeah, this means I'm checking if the same email ID is there for an employee or not. If it is there, it will hold this check employee will hold the data of that particular value. And then if it is not null, that means check employee is not null. If it is not null, then I have to return OK, that is 200 OK request with employee is already there in PB. And if this is null, else, that means if it is null, then I have to create one employee, that is employee equal employee, new employee. Just create an object, new object of an employee. Then I have to assign those values. Employee dot id would be GUID dot new GUID. This is the employee ID. This will be the new employee ID for that particular employee. Then employee name would be emp dot name. Then employee email. Okay, salary would be emp dot salary. Employee phone would be emp dot phone. Employee designation would be emp dot designation. Employee email would be emp dot email. Sorry, email. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 entries are there. Now the mapping is done. Now next thing is I have to add this employee to the database. So for that I just have to write await, then context dot add async. No, context dot in which table I have to add employee, then add async, and inside that I have to pass the employee data, and that will add. Then after adding I have to save the changes in the database. So context dot save change async. So this is also done. Now I have to return the OK response with the employee data itself. Yeah. So my add employee, the post method is done. Creating an employee, it is done. Now I have to read all the employees that are there in the database. So public, then this also be an asynchronous. So async, then task I action result, get all employees. Get all employees. We don't need to do any mapping. Acha, before this, technically it will be coming from the form, from the website itself. So I have to add one more parameter, that is from body, spelling mistake, from body. Okay, so now this one is first one is done. Let me minimize this. And now get all employees. Employee would have context dot employee dot to list. It will be written as list to list async. This is just the one thing. Wait. Okay, so this is done. Then I have to return OK with the value. The value is, let's say, just cover it with the result and just print the result. So this is also done. Just Control C, make the route Control V. Fine. This is also done. The next one is find the employee with a particular ID. So for that, same method, async task action result get employee. Then we need to pass uh, one ID that will be coming from form body or from route. I will put as route, and it will hold a GUID ID as a parameter. And inside that, I just need to check if add emp equal await context dot employee dot find async inside that ID. Then if there is an employee, if employee is not null, then just I have to print, okay, employee not null. If the employee is not null, then I have to return OK response with emp, else I need to return not found attribute, else return not found. So that means with that particular ID there is no employee. So the route would be route, inside the route patient ID, and ID would be ID and ID would be GUID. So that is also done. And then for the put method, I just have to update the employee with a particular ID. When we got an ID, the ID is constant, that is because it is primary key. So with that particular ID, I can update the other data of the employee. Like here, with this particular ID, I can update the name of the employee, phone number, salary, designation, email. All these 5 things I can update. So for that, I have to pass the ID first, and then I have to check if the ID is belong to particular employee or not. If that is present, then I can update or map those things. So public async task action result, then update employee, and inside that I have to pass same thing from route, and from route would be GUID, that is ID, and the data that holds, like the employee details. EMP model dot emp. Okay, so now first check if add emp await underscore context, then employee find async. If there is a data with this particular ID, then if, okay, emp is already there, so let me give it as employee. No, let me give this as employee, LOY. Okay, so if employee not null, if employee has hold some value, this variable holds this values, if there is a value with this particular ID, then I just need to change the data. The employee would be employee dot, I have to update employee email ID can be updated with emp dot email ID, employee dot phone number can be updated to emp dot phone number, employee salary can be updated to emp dot salary. Employee designation also can be updated to emp dot designation, and name as well, employee name, if it specifically change his name or her name, emp dot name. Okay, so 5 fields updated. Now I have to run one command, that is await context dot employee dot update. There is no for update, there is no async, so I might have to remove this await keyword for that, otherwise it will throw me an error. Employee. So see, I have updated 5 fields, but ID is not changed yet. So ID would be same, as that ID holds the data of that of the particular employee. So it's updated. Now I have to, for after every operation in the database, we have to run the, like every update or delete or uh, create operation, apart from the read, we have to save change the method, otherwise it will not save in the database. So save change and then return the particular employee with OK response. emp employee with OK response, that is fine. And now if there is no employee with that particular name, if I'm not find anything, then return, sorry, return not found. Okay, so my update is also done. Let me close this, close, just a second guys. So whatever things I have done, so this one is closed, get all employees, fine. Now add employee, that is also done, but is also closed as well. Now next one is get employee, this is also done. Then the next one is, okay, get employee, close this. And then we have okay, this one is done. Then update employee, oh yeah, I forget to add the route for the update employee, and the route is nothing but this, because we have ID here. So ID GUID. So for the update employee, the route is this, and close this, and then we have delete. So the method would be public async task I action result delete, sorry, not delete, remove employee. Would be good here. And remove, how would I find that particular employee to get removed? The thing is, we will add his, we will find it with his employee ID. So from route GUID ID, and here let me add the route as well, route GUID, and here ID.UID. So that is also done. Okay, so now where emp, first we have to search if there is an employee in the database with that particular ID or not. Find async, it's already giving me, yeah, that is done. I will find with that particular ID that employee ID is present or not. Then if emp not equal null, if this emp holds some data, or if I can say equal null, if it is null, then return not found. Yeah, else I just need to write print context context employee dot remove. Remove also don't have an async method. That's why I cannot add await keyword here. So remove the particular employee, and then if the employee gets removed, then I have to add await context dot save change async, then return okay employee data removed successfully would be shown here. So this is also done. So see, for the CRUD operations, I have a create method, add employee. Then I have read method, get all employees. It will print me a list. Then I have get employee with ID. So with particular ID, it will give me that particular data of the employee. And then update the employee with particular ID, that is update, U for update, and delete for D. So my CRUD operations is done, and so do this employee controller as well. So I'll hit save button and let me build the application. So my build is successful. Now I hit this run button. It will load the Swagger UI for me. Okay, see, my Swagger UI is opened and it is having 5 methods. That is, one is post method, two get method, one put, and one delete. Okay, so first let me see if I am having any data or not. So I'll go for try out and execute. It will give me an empty array, I guess. Meanwhile, let me just open a query window for the table. Just new query. Here, let me write the query for returning all the data. That is, select star from employee and hit execute. Sorry, it's from. It's from. Open. Okay. See, ID, name, phone number, salary, designation is null. So I don't have any data yet, and that is also coming, I guess, here. See, it's showing me 200 okay with empty array. So I don't have any data. So let me add one such data. Uh, let me go for tryout. It's providing me the schema for the add values. So my let me give the name as Preetham, phone number as 1000, salary as, let's say, this one, and designation is CEO. So and email ID as p.ceo@gmail.com. So that is my data. I don't have ID here. ID will be auto created in the application itself. And then I hit execute. Okay, see, it's giving me 200 okay and providing me the response body as this data which I have provided, and then the ID itself that is already created by the application itself. So now if I go for where yeah, here, get all employees, if I execute this, now this time it will give me one data. Okay, so if I go here and run this query again, it will give me this data, pco@gmail.com. Fine. Now let me add one dummy data here. I'll do ABC, and then this value never changed. I will not change it, and this is ABC dot email. I will later on delete this. So I'll execute this method, and it will create, see, ABC, name of the employee is ABC, phone number, email ID, all this with a new ID. It's been created. Now if I go for get all employees and hit execute, it will give me two data one by one. Now if I copy this ID and go a little below where this get employee method is called. If I try out this, it's asking me for ID. If I put this ID here and execute, it will give me the data of that particular employee, that is Preetham and CEO. If I removed something, some values that is not there in the database, this ID is not present in the database. If I execute this, it is not taking the value. If I remove and execute, yeah. So see, it is providing me 200 OK success, but the title is not found. It is showing me, sorry, it is not providing me 200 OK, my bad. It is providing me 404. 404 means not found. So the data is not there in the database. So that is also done. Now if I copy this user ID and go to the put method, that is update one. So here as well, I need to add the ID first as a parameter, and then I have to add the request body. So the request body would be, let's say, ABCD. That is the request body. Before this, it was ABC. And the phone number is, let's say, 9000, and salary is also 8000. Designation is I don't know, and email ID is abcd@gmail.com. Okay, so this is the email ID. If I hit execute, see the data is getting populated, is updated one. And if I go for the get all employee query and execute this, it will give me two data, and this second one is updated. So now if I copy this data and I want to remove this employee, ABCD employee, I'll go below and this delete method, expand this, try out. It's asking me for the ID. If I give the ID and execute, see, it says employee data removed successfully. So if I go here and execute this, see the first data is only populated because the second one is already excluded from the database. Now, if I remove this 9 and put 1, that means this is one ID that is not present in the database. If I execute, it will give me 404 that is not found as well. So this functionality is also working. And in this put method, if I hit ID, first it will check the ID is present or not. So this ID is present for the first time, but now it is not. It is deleted as well, deleted also. So if I execute, it will also give me not found. I wish, yeah, 404 not found. Yeah. So all these five functionalities are done. So my data is my application, backend application is running fine and it is working properly. And I have 4 APIs. That is, these all are the APIs. You can say these all are the APIs. Here, see, this is the base URL. Till this is the base URL, and then the remaining part is the method bodies. So this totally makes a REST call, and this will help me to get and update the data in this Angular page, Angular website. So in the next video, I will map this REST calls in the Angular application. Till then, have a nice day.